Hey there, this is Matt. I put this video together to show my angle of drum restoring. I found this drum kit in a pawn shop last year and it just needed a lot of work. They were getting rid of it for practically nothing, so I didn't figure I'd lose much by trying it out. I found other videos on YouTube of people doing their drums, just wanting a new paint job or whatever, or taking wraps off and painting them and so on. So, never really saw anybody take a drum kit from look like a junkyard and give it a new look. So here I go with my attempt at it, and the drums came out really good. They there was a little extra work involved, but well worth it in the end. I'm pretty happy with the results. The drums themselves had no markings, though I could tell they were Ludwig's only by, well, at least the hardware was Ludwig's. And I took pictures just because I didn't know. I guess you could say I was kind of new to the Ludwig experience. I've never been I guess, educated on Ludwig's. And I've always played other different names I won't even mention, but the kit had black hoops on the bass drum, and it was this wood color grain, ugly pecan color. Didn't even have a pretty stain to it, but it was rusty here and there everywhere, and it was the stain even was dripping from their wherever they dripped, or their polyurethane clear coat was not sanded. It just had drip marks, and it was rough. It was all over the bearing edges, even where they were in terrible condition. The badges were removed, so I took a bunch of pictures and researched online and found them to be the Ludwig Rocker kit from 1988 because of the 14-inch rack tom offered with 10 lugs instead of 8. That's how they made those. The rack toms from 12, 13, 14, and 15-inch had the 10 lug configuration. So that was my findings, and I knew it would be cool to have a mid-80s Ludwig kit. It was a nice project to get started at. As you'll see the video, and in a minute you'll see video clips, the pictures showing the beginning of these drums going to paint. There's a couple of products that I use: the spray paint, the clear coat, and the polish at the end. But here's the drums in their first state. Took the hardware off and cleaned it up separately, but the first thing was cleaning the shells. There was a lot of dirt, dingy dust, food or drink buildup. It was just, they needed a lot of attention. So I cleaned them up with, I think it took Windex first to them, and then used mineral spirits inside and out. It was a little work just getting them clean. If you pause the video here, you'll see the bearing edges I was talking about, how it's stained actually is on the bearing edges, and some of the lacquer. You can't really see it up close. You can, but that video, if you paused it, you would see in that picture. After the hardware was removed, I soaked it. I read online you can actually soak metal that could be flaked with rust. You can soak it in dish soap for a couple days. Bunch of Dawn. I used Dawn, just what I had around the house. Poured a good amount in with the water in this like big storage container and all the hardware. Soaked it for a couple of days, and it really helped break the rust down. I also read online you can use aluminum foil and Coke. It doesn't matter if it's Coke or any other product that has phosphoric acid in it. You use that just to like dip the foil in there, get it wet, and rub it down really hard. And there's a before picture before I took aluminum foil and Coke. That was a bass drum leg, and it came out really nicely. So I did that on those parts that had a lot of rust. And then the floor tom legs, they were the other ones that were in terrible condition. It worked out really good. I bought a hand sander. I recommend doing that if you're going to attempt to strip drums down of their polyurethane and paint, anything like that. By hand, if you were doing it without a machine, it would take you forever, and your hand would probably wear out before you had patience. I did not buy a respirator. I just used an old t-shirt. Next time, I'm going to buy a respirator. About another $30. I was just trying not to spend a bunch of money to do this project. So the hand sander worked great for everything, even the bass drum hoops, stripping the black paint off of those. And I used a 60 grit, I think. Might have even used a 100 grit. I know I'm back and forth on them. But they both work good to strip the drums. As you can see there, they are ready for primer. If you wanted to get them ready for another type of stain, I recommend sanding them down and getting rid of all the stain that's in the wood grain, so it'd be a nice clean slate for you. A friend of mine cut that 14-inch rack tom down from a 13 to a 9. It was a great suggestion. Makes it a lot better sounding, more of a jazz style. And back in the old days, 13 by 9 rack toms were very popular, so I think they still are. And there I sanded the bearing edges down really good, got all the lacquer and stain off of them that was left behind, and got them ready for the tape. The 14-inch rack tom by 9 now instead of a 13. And then the 16 by 16 floor tom and the bass drum, of course, 22 by 16. Everything was done, primed it. I used a high-density foam roller with the primer just out of a can instead of spraying it to save a little money and work. It actually was pretty smooth. Not only that, you can do it inside right at the kitchen table and not have to worry about spraying and fumes and everything like that. I do recommend still opening a window or making sure the air is flowing so you're not breathing it directly. The high-density foam roller works, sanding it after the first coat to get it a smooth finish and then take another coat. And then I even used a latex high gloss or semi-gloss latex paint out of the quart can like that. With the foam roller, it still left a texture. I wasn't happy with it. I knew it was going to. I saw samples of it, but after I really did it and looked at it, I took a couple days to think about it. I wasn't happy with it. I really just thought of spray painting would have been the better route. So I sanded it back down to the primer. It wasn't too much throwing money away. That can of paint was about $15, so I still have some. It's not like it's going to go to waste, but the work, there was a lot of work involved stripping them back down, and so time consuming. Took all, as you can see, that orange peel look in that picture, or eggshell effect, the bumpiness of the texture of that paint. After rolling it, I just didn't like it. So I bought the spray paint, and I bought clear coat, the non-yellowing type. And then the final product, of course, was Meguiar's Scratch X. And remember, when you're painting anything white, polyurethane or anything oil-based is going to leave a yellow tint to your finish. So you definitely want to get a water-based type, or make sure it says non-yellowing finish. When I got to the finishing, follow the instructions on the can. It says multiple coats within a minute of each other, or wait another hour and do it, or wait 48 hours. So you can do multiple layers of the paint just the same, and you can even clear coat it after your last top coat. Let it sit for a couple of days though, and then put it back on another. I got about 7 coats of clear coat, light thin coats, wet sanding it with 400 grit sandpaper, gets the bumps down. And then I took a 2000 grit to get it a very smooth, polish ready finish. I used the Scratch X 20 by Meguiar's. I tried some other brands that I only bought one other one, and it did not work as good. I thought it didn't seem like it was working, so I actually went and bought the Meguiar's. Only by somebody else's video had Meguiar's, one of Meguiar's products for polishing, and they talked highly of it, so I thought I would try it. It came out incredible. I used a just sponge by hand, not a buffer, rubbed it really good, firm, and it was just excellent. It worked. You wipe it off with a microfiber cloth, and there's the results. You can see the high gloss finish. There was the stages. I kind of put the drums next to each other as I was in the middle of them. I think the 14-inch was primed there, and the other one was painted, ready for a clear coat. The drum heads, I put new heads all over the drums. I used a Remo coated Emperor vintage style on the 14 and 16-inch toms with a clear Emperor on the bottom. Yes, it's a clear Emperor 2-ply. I think I've read other people putting 2-ply heads on the bottom. It's not as common, but I thought I'd try it out and see what happens with these maple drums being a 25-year-old kit. They worked. They sound incredible. Very impressed. Nice low end plus a great attack because of the maple shells. I use a smooth white Power Stroke 3 on the front of the bass head and a Power Stroke Pro on the kick side. Excellent sounding drums. Fine-tuned the bearing edges with 1500 or 2000 grit sandpaper. Got them very smooth, ready for the heads to sit good. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to help you restore your drums too. Thanks for watching.